We are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Horror Headlines. I'm your host, Hunter and John Maher. I'm joined by my co-host, John Maher. How's it going, man?
Going good, man. How you been?
I am doing fantastic. We are here to talk about 5 big news topics in the world of horror. How have you been, brother?
I cannot complain. We're trying to get the TikTok live going at the same time. Right now, we're only live on YouTube. TikTok live is a fickle animal, but hopefully we'll be live on there as well. And so that's all I'm working on at the moment. But I am happy to be here with you. I'm glad we can do this, and hopefully we can do it regularly.
Hopefully, yes, I agree with that. So, yes, if you guys are here with us live, we're also live on YouTube. And as John said, we're also live over there on TikTok Live. So he'll be taking questions as well. So, as I said, we have 5 big news topics. As you can see, we have 2 of our big ones here on our headline, including Smile 2 with a big story update and a new Blair Witch remake coming from Blumhouse Studios. So, John, are you ready to get into our first topic?
Damn.
All right, so our first topic comes from bloodydisgusting.com. Let's go ahead and bring this up. It says Smile 2 plot details horror sequel will follow a pop star afflicted by the smile curse. First off, John, were you a fan of the first Smile movie?
Smile was it wasn't a total slam dunk for me, but it was a good movie. I didn't mind it at all. What did you think of it?
I really loved it. I think it was in my top 10 of 2022 when I did the ranking. I thought it was a really good way of kind of talking about trauma in a way that is very realistic. When it's, literally the expression is, oh, why are you depressed? Just smile all the time. Those are people who are out there who will say that. So kind of turning it on their head was very intriguing. I don't know how I feel about a sequel coming, if I'm being honest, because the movie kind of seemed like it was a standalone story, but I'm always open to see what happens. So let's get into the article right here from BladeDisgusting.com. It says Paramount's hit horror movie Smile gets a sequel this Halloween with returning director Parker Flynn's Smile 2. And the first plot details have made their way out of Paramount CinemaCon presentation this afternoon. First footage from the upcoming sequel was shown off of the event, but unfortunately it is not yet being released for the rest of us online. The good news, a whole bunch of websites, including Slash Film, were on hand at CinemaCon this week, so we at least got a Smile 2 footage description to work with. Slash Film recaps what they saw. The teaser footage for Smile 2 that played at CinemaCon 2024 was focused on a new character played by Naomi Scott, a music celeb whose glamorous world is about to be dragged to hell after a few glimpses of her pop star performances. The footage shows Scott's character getting a shock when a man played by Lucas Gage breaks into her dressing room and smiles creepily at her. Elsewhere in the footage, the website descriptions of the CinemaCon footage continues. She has been confronted by a kid with braces who flashes her a similar malevolent smile. The announced cast for Smile 2 also includes Kyle Gallner from the original, Rosemary DeWitt from The Staircase, Lucas Gage from The White Lotus, Dylan Gulera from Dream Scenario, alongside Raul Castillo from Army of the Dead, and Miles Riley from The Wilds. It is scheduled to hit theaters on October 18th. So, John, thoughts on our first plot description and the first footage shown from CinemaCon for Smile 2?
I'm just kind of interested. Obviously, Kyle Gallner, we saw at the end of the first movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Smile. We know that the curse has been passed on to him. So my only concern with movies like this is are they going to strand us with the plot, or will it be continuous? I feel they really need to stick the landing to tell how we get from Sosie Bacon's character to Kyle Gallner's character to this new main character. And I feel sometimes they don't do that well enough. I don't know if they're just hoping to get people coming in and having not seen them. Are they protecting people that haven't seen the first movie? You can't really do that. You've got to make sure the continuity is there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do like the idea that it's passed on to a music celebrity, and the idea of using her popularity to kind of pass on the curse. I think that's a very interesting idea. It went from a very self-contained story to now kind of expanding to someone who has a bigger audience. The one thing I still stuck on is, did Smile really need a sequel? I highly doubt it, because I think the movie is good on its own, but if you make a sequel that's even just as good as the original one, I think this could be a really good one-two punch.
Yeah, I think so too. I think basically, I think the first one was popular enough. I think it was unique enough. I think there's a really unique way that the demon or entity appears and manifests. So
Mhm.
as long as we're not doing the same exact stuff, if they're building on that and figuring out new ways to utilize that to scare you or like kind of like dupe you into like a false sense of security, I think going at least one more movie in the Smile franchise, provided, like I said, provided they stick the landing, don't leave us out in the cold, I'm willing to support Smile 2 in every aspect.
Yeah, I am too. I will definitely be there to watch it. The cast seems very interesting. I'm a huge fan of Naomi Scott. I love Kyle Gallner. So I wonder how much will the film rely on Kyle Gallner's character from the first movie? Like, will he be the linchpin of the sequel, or is he going to be someone who just kind of is there in the background, but it's not really doing anything?
It's like a real weird gray area, right? Because you have a lot of horror movies historically where they bring back the survivor and they just like kill them. So if we're getting like a
Yep.
Hostel Part 2, Friday the 13th Part 2, Laid to Rest 2 kind of thing, where like Kyle Gallner's there for the first 5 minutes and it's just him passing it on to somebody else, kind of a waste of Kyle Gallner. The dude's red
Mm-hmm.
hot right now. And it seems like they're already not making him the main character of the movie, but he's the main focus of the plot. So I don't know. Feels in my heart like a gamble, but I'm willing to take a look.
Yeah, I just hope they don't, as you were saying, go the route of bringing in this hot name in Kyle Gallner, because he was in the first one, just to kill him off. AKA going Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween Resurrection, or going, just kind of this idea of bringing back a hot name just to kill him off from the first movie, because I think he works well as a linchpin, as someone who you can watch from the first one and the second movie, and it still feels like one universe. If you take him away, then that linchpin is kind of gone from the entire story.
I 100% agree. Like I said, it's pivotal on how they handle the handoff. The handoff,
Exactly.
they can't fumble the handoff here.
All right, not much to talk about when it comes to this one. So, are you ready to move on to our second story?
Yeah, let me bring up the next. What are we talking about next, Hunter?
So, Blumhouse and Lionsgate join forces for a brand new Blair Witch Project movie. Let's go ahead and bring this up again from bloodydisgusting.com. I'll go ahead and read this off. 25 years after the release of the original genre-changing classic, Lionsgate and Blumhouse announced at a CinemaCon that they will partner on development and production of a new Blair Witch Project movie, as the first film in a multi-picture pack with Blumhouse reimagining horror classics from Lionsgate Library. The announcement was made today by Adam Fogelson, Lionsgate Motion Picture Group, and Jason Blum, founder and CEO of Blumhouse Studios. Based at Universal Pictures, where it has a first look deal, Blumhouse is the gold standard in the horror space, generating blockbusters resulting from a string of modestly budgeted films, including the Paranormal Activity franchise, Insidious, The Purge, Sinister, Halloween, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Megan, along with award-winning classics including Get Out and Black Klansman. Blumhouse films have grossed nearly $6 billion at the worldwide box office. And this is coming from, Ferguson himself. I've been incredibly fortunate to work with Jason over many times over the years. We forged a strong relationship on The Purge when I was at Universal, and we launched STX with this film, The Gift. There is no one better at the genre than the team at Blumhouse. We are thrilled to kick this partnership off with a new version of Blair Witch that will reintroduce the horror classic for a new generation. We couldn't be more pleased to be working with them on this and other projects we look forward to revealing soon. So, thoughts on them remaking the Blair Witch Project? Do you think this is a good idea? Or like me, you're just like, why are they touching this?
It's not even so much that they're remaking the Blair Witch. I'm not opposed to revisiting the Blair Witch. We've already done it. Adam Wingard already did it. We got a sequel. We got a kind of like requel in just Adam Wingard's Blair Witch. My issue is that at the moment, Blumhouse has given us Night Swim, and Blumhouse has given us Imaginary, and there are people with pitchforks and torches outside right now. If they screw up Speak No Evil, no one is going to want to watch this movie. They're going to hate this movie until they see it. Yeah, it's all Blumhouse. Ooh. Like they're gonna if they screw that up. And looking at the trailer of Speak No Evil, I'm already hesitant. If they screw that up, people are gonna not even want to go to this movie. They might go out of morbid curiosity, but it's in a tank. Also, understand the beauty of Blair Witch was it was a extremely low budget feature.
Mm-hmm.
And it made back probably like multiple hundreds of times its budget at the box office, just because of the marketing. So you lose the novelty of the Blair Witch, because I don't even know if you were alive when the original Blair Witch came out. But
I was one.
Yeah, people thought that was real. People thought it was like people thought the found footage was found footage. Now we're like 25 years later, we know it's not real. All of us who are like middle-aged people now, until the younger generation it's really just a movie. So you lose that luster. There's a lot going against this production. I'm hesitant on this.
Yeah, I am too. I don't know what is up with Blumhouse and remaking just every horror classic they can think of. They touched Halloween. They touched The Exorcist. Like, I like Blumhouse when they're doing original horror movies or stuff that is like wouldn't be made at other studios because maybe it is too low of a budget. But that's why Blumhouse is because you can make an original horror movie with a budget and then make it be successful. When they start taking IPs and are just trying to do cash grab remakes, that's where they kind of spin their wheels a little bit because they know they can just turn it out for a profit.
Yeah, I don't even know, Hunter. It's like the last two movies they put out were original ideas. Granted, we've painted ourselves into a corner original ideas with Night Swim and Imaginary. Imaginary maybe not so much as Night Swim, but actually I would argue that the best Blumhouse films to come out in the last year were films that weren't even released in theaters. Totally Killer and The Passenger are the two best Blumhouse films in the last 12 months.
I love Totally Killer.
And those are VOD releases. Like they're VOD, they're straight up VOD releases. Everything they put in theaters and everything that's like in the pipeline right now, the only thing in the pipeline I'm kind of like, all right, that sounds okay, is Lee Whannell's remake of The Wolfman. Sounds good. Casting is good. I think Lee Whannell's the right guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like forever away. We're going to get this movie first, probably. We're going to get Speak No Evil first. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for Speak No Evil.
I haven't.
You got to watch that trailer. Basically, it's like they're just like giving away all the plot points. Like there's so many.
That's kind of why I don't want to watch the trailer because I keep hearing they spoil way too much.
Have you seen the original?
I didn't know there was an original. Oh, it was a.
It's like a Danish movie. And it's fantastic.
Oh.
And it should have just been released. It's the same thing. I'm just like I'm a purist, Like I'm one of those guys that are like, well, why didn't you just release Ringu? Why'd you have to do the Ring? You could just release Ringu in America. They just don't do it. Like they're talking about remaking this movie. They're talking about at least they're gonna let Damien Rugna remake When Evil Lurks in English in America. I get that's better than just remaking it, I guess.
They're doing that?
Allegedly, I've heard that they're letting him remake the movie himself in English for an American release.
Read subtitles, people. It's not that hard.
Yeah, right?
I promise you.
Speak No Evil, the original, Gastern in Danish, is great. it's great. And I love James McAvoy. He's great. He's the right casting, I guess. But looking at and I know I'm getting off topic because we're talking about Blair Witch, and I'm eating it up and Speak No Evil. There was like a million scenes of the kid, I won't even spoil it. The big reveal in Speak No Evil is a reveal. The trailer for the American version of Speak No Evil has the reveal 3 separate times in the trailer. So I don't know if they're doing something else. I don't know if they're planning on making the plot go in the opposite direction, which I guess I can handle. But like, it's like, I guess they just think Americans are stupid. But back to Blair Witch, like, let's talk about the plot. Like, the only thing you could do, I imagine, and I'm ready to be hired at Blumhouse. If you wanted to do like a legitimate, like, expositional Blair Witch, where like you literally spoon feed the dumb American audiences like what's going on.
Oh, don't do that.
It's the actual opposite direction of the original Blair Witch. If you're willing to do that, I'm interested in that.
Really?
On some level, because we haven't gotten that yet. Like, because even in this Blair Witch, Book of Shadows was a mess. Wingard's Blair Witch was good, but it was the same thing. Like you're just disoriented. You have no idea what's really going on. We don't know unless you go like deep dive into the internet and like go on Reddit and stuff. Like the casual horror viewer still really doesn't know what's up with the Blair Witch. Like you really don't know. It's like you just go in the woods.
That's kind of the great thing about the Blair Witch Project is that you don't know if that was real or what's going on. There's so many theories you can base around that. What I would do personally, and I don't know if Adam Wingard did this with his remake, and if he did, you know, because I never watched that movie, but I would update the technology. So maybe
that's exactly what he did. They had a drone. They had higher cameras. They had a drone. They had everything, and still like everything like failed. And that was
not like a drone, but like how I would do it is I would have somebody who's maybe kind of the style of Deadstream, that Shudder movie where like he is a YouTuber and he goes out to a haunted house. Maybe these guys are YouTubers or Twitch stars or whatever you want to use, and they're going out trying to figure out what is up with this kind of Blair Witch. Like maybe they're like students or something who are using YouTube as their platform.
This article didn't mention what the plot's going to be, right? Like, is it a straight up remake? Then it's got to be like, I guess when you go back to the 90s, it's a period piece now. So it's got to be a period piece from the 90s. But if they remake it modern, I like the idea of it being like a live stream, or if it's like one of these like paranormal cruise, fuck around and find out movies like that. We've seen you have to. I think an interesting thing is kind of what they did in Blair Witch 2. Like you have the people who are witnessing this, and their footage shows this, but you have your production truck, which isn't in the woods, and it's showing totally different footage. Like, that's always cool.
Yeah. So maybe have something like a crew like maybe Sam and Kobe on YouTube. They do like haunted house stuff like that, but they kind of expand out in the movie, have them expand out to be like, oh, you know, we keep hearing about this haunted forest, you know, and maybe have them kind of spoon feed it to the audience, kind of like they did in the original, where it's like, oh, this is what we keep hearing, and you have like them interviewing people, but it's modern day, so you have like, you know, really good cameras, you have them maybe live streaming at night, and what's cool about that is you can even use like a little bit of like night camera shots, like maybe they're going out to shoot and they have like night goggles, like night vision goggles on, and you can do really cool stuff with the imagery. What I don't want is I don't want them to tell me exactly what's in the woods, because I think that's the great mystery behind this movie, and I don't want them to just make the same movie that they did back in the 90s. Update it, but then give me some interesting characters with it.
I think Blumhouse, when they are involved, it becomes like we will expose everything. Lionsgate being involved, they may protect the intellectual property and not let that happen. But given that this is a Blumhouse movie, I don't see them not telling you, and this is exactly what happened, and this is exactly what the Blair Witch looks like. Like you're going to get that with Blumhouse. I guarantee. I would bet my bottom dollar on that.
Like the best thing about the first Paranormal Activity movie is that they gave us just enough to believe that there was a ghost, but they didn't show everything all at once. Once Blumhouse made money with these, and you got stuff like the Ghost Dimension, where they literally kept showing you the ghost, that's where those movies failed off. Go back to the original Paranormal Activity movie, the original. Have this be a low budget, one location horror movie, and don't tell us anything about it.
Right. Like I said, I think we've complained enough about what Blair Witch is probably going to be.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to our third topic, which is a Alexandra Aja new horror movie starring Halle Berry. Gets a September 27th release. It's called Never Let Go. So let me go ahead and bring that up. I'll go ahead and read it from, again, BladeDiscussing.com. Originally announced last year under the title Motherland, the next film from director Alexandra Aja from High Tension, Hills Have Eyes, Piranha 3D, and of course, Crawl, which I really love Crawl. I think that movie was really good, is now titled Never Let Go, and Lionsgate has debuted the official poster and announced the release date. Never Let Go arrives in theaters on September 27th, 2024. Academy Award winner Halle Berry is leading the film's cast, with Percy Daggs IV from Last Days of Ptolemy Gray and Anthony B. Jenkins from Florida Man will star alongside Berry in Never Let Go. The upcoming Lionsgate horror film follows a mother and her fraternal twin sons, Diggs and Jenkins, who have been tormented by an evil spirit for years and are convinced to never let go of their family's protective bond. But when one brother questions if the evil is real, their connection is severed, triggering a terrifying fight for survival. Aja is directing from a script by Kevin Coughlin and Ryan Gaspy. The film will be produced by 21 Laps, Sean Levy, Dan Cohen, and Dan Levine from Stranger Things. So, thoughts on Never Let Go, the story, and the poster that just got released?
I am never, ever, ever going to say no to Alexandra Aja's movies. My High Tension poster, unfortunately, got a rip in it. It fell down, so I had to replace it with the poster. Love High Tension. I'm a big High Tension apologist. For people that don't like High Tension, sorry. But he's made pretty much, with the exception of maybe Mirrors, which I still think is good, a lot of great movies. And he's shown that he can do a bunch of subgenres within horror. Like, you have High Tension, straight up, like, psychological thriller slasher. He did Horns, which is a horror comedy mystery. He did Oxygen, which is a science fiction horror movie. He did Crawl, which is a creature feature. The guy is multi-talented, whatever you want to throw at him. And Halle Berry, speaks for herself. Oscar-winning actress. Let's go. Let's see what's happening. I'm going to go see this movie opening day.
Oh, I am too. When I heard the story, and the story kind of reminds me of 10 Cloverfield Lane in a way where it's like there's these three family members are stuck in one location. You've got the idea of, are the monsters real? Are they not real? Is this mother just delusional, or is there something more outside of the house? It's very, very interesting to me. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love horror movies that are very contained in one location, because that really shows the human psyche, and especially being stuck in one place for your entire life, what that would do to somebody. And yeah, I love his films. I've only seen, I think, two of them, which is High Tension and Crawl. I need to watch the remake of Hills Have Eyes. Huh?
You haven't seen the remake of The Hills Have Eyes?
No, I need to watch that.
Let's just tell a little anecdote. Like, The Hills Have Eyes, the original, obviously, like one of Wes Craven's first movies. Wes Craven, saw High Tension and was like, yeah, this dude can remake it. I'm cool with that.
That's awesome.
You need more than that to know what this guy is capable of. He has the blessing of a god in this world.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, has every single thing he's done been a 5-star movie? No. But he's made a lot. And I enjoy pretty much all of it. He's also a very skilled writer. He wrote a bunch of movies he didn't direct. He's produced a bunch of movies he didn't direct. Go to his Wikipedia page. You'll be surprised what he was involved in. But again, when he's behind the camera, when he's directing, like there's a chance for magic. And I think it looks like he has the right crew here. I don't know much about the trailers. They haven't written much, but whatever. Everyone starts somewhere.
Yep. And I love these type of movies. I love the movies that are 1 to 2 locations because you're kind of forced to hire great actors who can keep your attention. If not, then this movie's not going to work. And Halle Berry can keep your attention. She is such a force of, she's so good on the screen that in a movie like this, she'll be able to keep your attention. And especially going the way of Halle Berry as a mother, as a mama bear, it's very intriguing to me to see what she will do to protect her kids. And is she crazy? Is she not? All these questions that I really hope the trailer does not spoil for us.
Well, we'll see. We shall. I think as we get closer to this, we'll probably talk more about it. But like, yeah, the concept sounds good. The pieces are there. This poster looks like scales. All right, I'm down with that. Let's go.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next topic, which is about the film 28 Years Later, which is a sequel to 28 Days Later in the 28, I guess, franchise at this point. It found a director. Candyman filmmaker Nia DaCosta is in talks to direct the second movie in a planned trilogy. Again, from Blade Disgusting, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are reteaming for the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, titled 28 Years Later, which plans to kick off a brand new trilogy. Deadline reports tonight that Nia DaCosta, Candyman and the Marvels, is now in talks to direct the planned second installment in the 28 Years Later trilogy from Sony Pictures. Last we heard, Garland will write the first film and Boyle will return to direct. Deadline notes in their new report tonight, while exact dates are unknown, sources say the plan is for Boyle to direct the first one later this year and the second filming immediately after the first shoot, which is why the studio is moving fast to lock in that second director. This way the directors can get on the same page on where they see the story, also bringing their own unique visions for each film. Alex Garland will pen each installment. The original movie in 2002 starred Cillian Murphy. It was written by Alex Garland and directed by Danny Boyle. In the smash horror film, 4 weeks after a mysterious, incurable virus spreads through the UK, a handful of survivors tried to find sanctuary. A sequel, 28 Weeks Later, arrived in 2007. John Carlos Frenadello, is that how you say it?
Fresnadillo.
There we go. Took over as director in the sequel, which starred Jeremy Renner 6 months after the rage virus was inflicted on a population of Great Britain. The U.S. Army helps to secure a small area of London for the survivors to repopulate and start again, but not everything goes according to plan. Talks of a third installment in the franchise has been coming and going for the last several years now. At one point, it was going to be titled 28 Months Later, but it looks like this one is finally getting off the ground here in 2024. So, thoughts on 28 Years Later and Nia DaCosta coming in for the second film?
Nia DaCosta, I mean, I love Candyman. However, begs the question, like how much of that was Jordan Peele and how much of that was Nia DaCosta? She's a very capable director, but I kind of feel like, in a sense, given Jordan Peele's body of work, his involvement kind of overshadowed her direction. That's just me.
I feel that.
But now again, she's paired with another person, Alex Garland, who like everyone is just absolutely shitting their pants over Civil War. Like
I can't wait to see it.
They're going berserk over this movie. So, and like I was always a person when it came to Alex Garland, was like, well, which Alex Garland are we going to get? Are we going to get Ex Machina Alex Garland, or are we going to get like Annihilation Alex Garland? Because one of those is a movie I like, and one of those is a movie I didn't like. But then
which one or which?
What? Ex Machina is great. Annihilation's weird. Man is also weird. So I thought he was just going on this weird path.
I actually like Man. If I'm being honest, I really enjoyed Man.
It's just weird. And Debs
it really is.
But then everyone's saying Civil War is like a return to form. It's like a fantastic movie. So I'm guessing Alex Garland just returned to kind of like the way he was in 28 Days Later, where it's like, let me just write a compelling story. It doesn't need to be like art house. It doesn't need to be open to interpretation. Let's just have people in conflict. And if that's the way this is going to be, I'm all for it. And Nia DaCosta is not a bad director at all. So I don't. Again, it's going to be a warm handoff, and she's going to score a touchdown, guaranteed. If the script is good, it will be fine.
Yep, I'm a huge fan of the remake of Candyman, and I think that's also, you can say Jordan Peele is a main reason for that, but he was just a producer for, I don't know how much input he had on the directing process or on the writing process, but Nia DaCosta directed the hell out of that film. I think the shots that she used, especially the bathroom scene in the 2021 Candyman, is incredible because there's a lot of one take shots, especially coming from our main character in the bathroom to then, going outside to the 5 girls in the mirror. I think was fantastic. I just know a lot of people are going to hate on this decision because a lot of people didn't like the Marvels. But I will say I'm going to give her leeway because I don't know how much creative freedom she had with Marvel being the way it is.
I want to point out that Jordan Peele did help write Candyman. He and Nia did.
He did, okay.
And I liked the Marvels. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it.
I thought it was fun.
But the reasons why they didn't like it were just like, this is just too goofy and blah, blah, blah. And like, Marvel's too woke. But directorially, like it's freaking great. Like the shots are great. All those action sequences are shot great. She's an extremely capable director. Like extremely capable. So like if anything goes wrong with this movie, I don't think it has anything to do with her. Mm-mm. It's gonna be like some kind of weird political thing. But again, this is a good team. And it says like she's going to do the second installment. So the only real thing that could probably hamstring her is if Danny Boyle fumbles the first leg of it, which I'm going to say unlikely.
Yeah, I highly doubt that he's going to fumble it, considering that like the first time that Danny Boyle and Alex Garland teamed up, they did a very fucking great job with 28 Days Later.
Yeah. So
it'd be kind of weird if Alex Garland comes back to write and Danny Boyle comes back to direct and they kind of fumble the ball. It's possible, but I don't see that happening.
Right.
But I'm very excited for this. And I can't wait to see what they do. I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. So I'm glad to see that he's not stepping away from the entire industry because apparently Civil War is going to be his last movie for a long time. He wants to focus more on his writing credits and things like that. So if he keeps making movies like Civil War, which I hear is incredible, I can't wait to see it. I'm going hopefully next weekend to see it.
Seeing it Saturday.
I cannot wait to see that movie. And you know what? Fuck the political talk. I just want to see a great movie, and that's what Alex Garland gives us.
People just hear the word Civil War and they're like, well, let me tell you something, brother. It's like, it's a freaking movie, dude. Like, save that shit for the Dukes of Hazzard remake whenever that comes out.
The one joke that I do find funny is like, everyone's like, 0 stars. Captain America and Iron Man were not in this movie. All right, let's move on to our last topic, which is a very interesting one. I did not realize that he was doing this remake, but Glenn Powell is starring in a new adaptation of Stephen King's The Running Man from director Edgar Wright.
This is another thing where, like, all these pieces are fantastic. I mean, I don't know if we necessarily need to remake The Running Man, but let me give you a little backstory. Running Man is one of the stories that Stephen King wrote under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. And basically the movie, the Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson movie that we're seeing the picture of right here, doesn't follow the book at all. The book is more like Ben Richards, the character that Schwarzenegger plays, is released into society. And it's like assassins that are after him. Whereas in The Running Man from 1987, it's like a game show, which was, I guess, it was the 80s, man. So they had to do that. So I don't know if they're going to give us this or if they're going to give us something that's truer to Richard Bachman, Stephen King's original work, which I would be totally interested in, even though we did just get the basic comedic version of it with Self-Reliance with Jake Johnson, which the Running Man is basically that plot. But okay, go ahead, Hunter, if you want to read the story. Sorry. But
Yeah, that's fine.
Edgar Wright's going to kill it, no matter what.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, so again, from bloodydisgusting.com, originally reported way back in 2021, Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead, Last Night in Soho, is directing a new take on Stephen King's The Running Man. And Paramount has announced at a CinemaCon today that Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick and Twisters will star. I think that's a mistype. It says Edward Wright, but Edgar Wright will direct a brand new movie adaptation of Stephen King's novel, and he will also produce, along with his producing partner Nira Parks and Simon Kinberg. King's novel, published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman, good job, was released in 1982, loosely adapted into the same title Arnold Schwarzenegger starring film in 1987. Deadlight reminds, King's futuristic novel is a chase thriller set in the dystopian America in the year 2025. Hey, we made it! The story centers on Ben Richards, a desperate man who participates in a violent reality show, The Running Man, in order to win enough money to revive his gravely ill daughter. The show follows Richards being chased by numerous hunters sent to kill him. Last we heard, Wright's version is going to stick closer to King's source material.
Let's go. Okay, I'm in.
Daniel Barwin celebrated 30 years of the 1987 movie adaptation here on Bloody Disgusting back in 2017. He wrote, 30 years later, The Running Man's social satire hits harder now than it did upon arrival. That alone makes it worthy of remembrance. Once you throw in a pulpy premise, a fun cast, adrenaline-filled action, hilarious lines, a pulse-pounding sip score, and Arnold at the top of the game, if you haven't seen it, now's the time to change that. So we now know that Edgar Wright will stick closer to the source material, the novel. I am super excited. I love Glenn Powell as an actor. I first saw him in Top Gun Maverick. I thought he fucking killed it. I love Edgar Wright. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, the source material is, like I said, it is not bop bop beep boop game show with a wacky game show host. It is legit like go. You got a 12-hour head start, go. And it's like real gritty, like he's like surviving, and he's just a regular dude. He's not like, first of all, he's not Schwarzenegger. He's not like ex-military. You're not gonna have Jesse Ventura and the freaking
Jesse Ventura was in that movie, or you're talking about Predator?
Jesse Ventura is one of the hunters. It's him.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's like there's like an ex-football player. It's that big Japanese dude from the 80s is in it. The guy is this, I don't remember his name. I forget his name off the top of my head. It's killing me. I'm going to look it up while you talk. Tell us why Edgar Wright's the right person for the job.
So I've never seen the original Running Man, but what Edgar Wright does really well is he's able to mix a lot of genres. Like Shaun of the Dead is a horror comedy, and it's a great horror comedy. You've got something like Last Night in Soho, which is a drama, thriller, mystery that he does really well. It's a period piece. He has that type of, spark to his directing. So if he's doing kind of an adaptation of the original source material of The Running Man, as you said, a kind of a dark, gritty, like survival type movie.
This could be cartoony shit out of it. Because again, it was Jim Brown, who I should have known. Jim Brown is in it, the football player. Professor Toru Tanaka is he's like I forget what his character's name is. He's like Sub-Zero, I think, in the movie. Right, Sub-Zero. And he's like a hockey player on skates, and like he hits Schwarzenegger. It's like a goal, and the goal close. It's all crazy cartoony shit. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's not really a horror movie. It's definitely an action movie. But like, it's got like every like Schwarzenegger trope you want from the 80s in this movie. And Richard Dawson, at the height of like Family Feud popularity, is great as like an over the top, like, smash TV type dude. But yeah, I'd be down for a closer adaptation. That's a totally different movie.
Yeah.
It's just technically got the same title.
So for this movie, I'm suspecting it's going to be a theatrical release, but is there a possibility they could put it on Paramount Plus? I hope they don't, but
if Edgar Wright, no way. If this movie even like, clutches the ankles of Baby Driver with regards to like action scenes, like you have a hit on your hands. If it's like if the action scenes approach that, you're good.
Dude, I fucking love Baby Driver. That movie rules.
Yep, 100%.
I I
If
can't
we
think
get
of
chase
a
scenes like
Edgar
that,
Wright movie I hate.
even the scene like when he's on foot and he's running away,
Mm.
still shot perfectly. And that's what Running Man is going to be. It's going to be. It might not have this. It might not have the wacky soundtrack that Baby Driver had. It'll be a little grittier. But like I'm down for it if that's what they do.
Dude, I'm so excited for this. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan. Glenn Powell is going to kick ass in this role. I just know it. He's a really, really great actor. I can't really think of anything else to talk about in this story. I mean, we're both excited for this, like, obviously.
And just so you know, if you're watching on YouTube, the TikTok thing did not pan out. But by the next time we do this, I'll have all the kinks worked out for then. Because for some reason they thought I was doing gaming, and it's like you need to apply for a gamers thing. But I'll have it figured out by then. Yeah, I'll have a whole week to figure it out.
There we go. So John, is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
No, this was good. I mean, if this becomes a regular thing, I'm totally for it. I'd be happy to talk horror news every week, and we can get it, broadcast to multiple locations. We'll get the horror community involved. I'm all down for it.
Dude, I would love to have you on. I'm gonna try to do this 2 times a week, maybe 1 time by myself, and then 1 time when you come on. Just because there's so many horror movie news that keep coming out throughout the week that I'll definitely have something I can talk about every week, which is kind of fucking wild that we're in an era where there's so many horror projects and horror news coming out. I'm super excited for Abigail that comes out later on this month, the new Radio Silence vampire film. There's so many, up and coming horror movie directors, horror movies coming out. That it's kind of
Arcadian today. I don't know if you're planning on seeing Arcadian, the new Nick Cage movie.
I didn't know there was a new Nick Cage movie. I'm intrigued.
If you're a fan of, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you're a fan of like A Quiet Place, Tremors, like There Are Monsters,
yes,
we don't know what the hell's going on in a post-apocalyptic America, that's the whole movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
Is that in theaters or is that streaming somewhere?
I saw it in theaters. Like I saw it at like 4:00 and came home.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
dude, there's so many movies I have to catch up on. Just money's been tight, so I haven't been able to see movies in theaters for a while. But I'm super excited to see what new horror movies come out.
It's a Shudder film too, so they'll probably be on Shudder in like.
Speaking of Shudder films, Last Night with the Devil, is that?
Late Night with the Devil should be. I mean, it's still in theaters, so I imagine they're going to let that run do it, and then they'll give it like 14 days.
I think they said it's coming out April 21st on Shudder. So dude, that movie looks awesome. It's getting so many great reviews. I can't wait to see it on Shudder.
That in a 1-screen theater. Bring your own beer. Bring your own booze to the theater. It was like we were in the audience of the talk show. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. John, where can people find you online before we head out?
You can check me out, Why We Love Horror, here on YouTube. It's WWL Horror at WWL Horror. Also on TikTok at WWL Horror. Both those locations, I'm posting all the time. You find me there. And Hunter's over there too. Hunter's over here. Hunter will play over there. See him in Why We Love Horror Trivia, Why We Love Horror, and he's been on John Versus as well. Those are the 3 shows in the channel. And hopefully we'll add
John Versus, man.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill. The Legend of Jack and Jill.
Hell yeah.
What a movie. What a movie. Hold on. Before we head out, have you seen Pooh, Blood, and Honey 2 yet?
I have not. That's the only movie that came out in theaters that I didn't see. I have access to it if I want, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I will see it.
Apparently, it's so much better than the first one, but that's not hard to do.
That's like stepping over a cord on the floor.
All right, guys. If you did enjoy this, please hit the like button, subscribe to Welcome to Prime Time down below. That you guys watching. And remember, stay scared.